We just got some shocking news. XRP ETFs are coming. That's why I'm making this red alert video today for all of you important people. But there are other really interesting things going on in the markets right now that I want to share with you guys too, because some of the things I was seeing were a little scary. I'm going to talk about insiders and what they're doing with their stocks, especially tech stocks, which are closely linked to cryptocurrencies in terms of price movement and overall performance. I wanted to talk about this quickly because it shows that US executives are selling shares at a record rate. The ratio of insider buyers to dealers dropped to 0.22, which is the lowest level since records began in 988. It's below previous lows of 0.24 and 0.25, which were seen in 2024 and 2021. If we look at this chart, you can see that this is the lowest level it has been since records began being kept in 2018. I wish we had better levels to see what the levels were like in 2009, but we can't because the data wasn't being kept at that time. I think it's probably a great problem for those working in the business because there's a good chance that many people would have started selling much earlier during that financial crisis, but we have access to this information now, and it basically tells us that things are looking a lot like 2021. Look at the drop in buyers that we see right here in 2021, which is based on information from people who work for the company. We're seeing the same thing happen right here in 2025. What does this mean to me? Many business people are saying that they think the markets are overvalued right now, and they're happy to sell their stocks and get coins as payment instead of the stocks they were holding. There are different ways to look at this because we're still hitting new all-time highs. Who is driving all of this price movement? Well, I know for sure that there are a lot more retail traders involved in the area now than there were 6 months ago. I think anyone who has been interested in cryptocurrency for the last couple of years can say this without a doubt. I see this firsthand. I can see that interest in cryptocurrency has grown a lot in the last 3 months because of the number of people watching my videos. I think that some corporate insiders are using retail buyers as go out liquidity. And I also think that establishments are currently selling and shopping for at strategic times as a good way to liquidate quite a few futures positions to make quick cash as well. What we are basically seeing is that corporate insiders and establishments are swing buying and selling to basically make money, taking advantage of the mistakes of new retail buyers to make money. This worries me, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. They're using market dynamics and market psychology to make money at your expense. That's what I'm seeing right now. In other news, Trump is also doing some interesting things with tariffs that will have a huge impact on the global economy. For example, Trump announced yesterday that tariffs of 25% would be put in place on both Canada and Mexico. He said that these tariffs would go into effect on February 1, and he said that they would be enforced. It's been about 15 hours since he made his announcement that he was delaying the 25% price lists on Canada and Mexico from February 1st to March 1st. This is in line with what Trump and other administration officials have said, which is that they are already changing their minds about when they want tariffs to go into effect. The problem with price lists is that the person you are imposing them on can also respond with price lists, so it becomes a battle of lists. So the battle of lists is both sides basically say, okay, we're going to raise tariffs and prices, and consumers are going to be upset. This leads to political unrest. And so the net benefit here is that Trump is fighting a battle with Canada, a good change partner who I think is mutually beneficial since Canada sells oil to the US and the US refines it and sells it back to Canada and the rest of the world. It's a really good buy for the US, and I think Canada should do the same. They should really build their own oil plants and sell the oil themselves, but instead they're giving it all to the US, which is making a lot of money off of it. So I don't think this is a good reason to put price controls on Canada. America, I understand a little more because of the problems with the gangs and other things. But yeah, Canada, as you probably already know, that's not a good person to do that with because it will only lead to inflation in every way. does come from Canada. And if Trump wants to start buying more oil from Saudi Arabia or Russia, he can. But I think those are two countries he probably doesn't need to deal with too much right now because of other geopolitical problems he's having with them. That being said, Trump isn't just threatening 25% price lists, he's also threatening 100% price lists on BRICS. In places where they try to change the US dollar, I get it, but I think it's silly that he's basically saying, I'm not going to do business with you if you join BRICS and try to change the US dollar. It would be interesting to see how they react to this. I think that's kind of like a bully attitude. He's basically saying, let us do what we want, and if you don't, then we won't trade with you, and you won't get to be a part of the world's most important economic system. Many countries are likely to try to do business with the US less because of this. I haven't seen how this will all play out yet, but I don't think it will go very well. I also don't think these price lists will last long, because when Americans start raising prices for everything because they have so many imports, it probably won't be a good game in the long run. Sure, you're the arena reserve right now, but if you're ruining your commercial, he is playing a very risky game here. And I think that if he loses, it will only speed up the fall of the United States. Now, Elon Musk says that there will be no inflation in 2026 if the Department of Government Efficiency cuts $4 billion in spending today. This is interesting to note, and it also makes sense if the Federal Reserve doesn't print any money. Stop wars from happening, I think it's more likely than not that they will have to print money to get themselves out of the liquidity crisis they are likely to be in, but we'll see how this all plays out. If there is no inflation in 2026, that might be fine. According to every economist, you do want a little inflation. No more than 2.2% is thought to be healthy, because once you get into a state of deflation, it's very hard to get